The space race is back, folks. But this time, it's not just about planting flags or taking cool selfies on the moon, it's about power, who controls the final frontier and shapes the future of humanity out there. Countries are sending rockets, not just to explore, but to stake their claims on Moon, Mars, and beyond. Sounds exciting, right? But here's the deal. All this progress might come with a hefty price tag. The question is, will this cosmic competition unite us, or are we setting a stage for conflicts that could echo across the galaxy? The choices we make now will shape the future of space exploration, not just for nations, but for all of us. So, what's next? A peaceful partnership that takes humanity to the stars? Or a space race that creates even more tension? Let's unravel this thread. Remember the original space race? Back in the 60s, it was a Cold War showdown between the US and the Soviet Union to see who could plant their metaphorical flag on the moon first. The Soviets kicked things off with a bang, launching Sputnik in 1957 and sending Yuri Gagarin into orbit in 1961. But then, US said, "Hold my beer," and in 1969, NASA's Apollo 11 mission put Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin on the lunar surface. It was all about prestige, bragging rights, and proving who had the better systems. Fast forward to today, and guess what? The space race is back. But it's not just a two-horse competition anymore. The stakes are higher, the players are more diverse, and the ambitions way bigger. Take the US for instance. NASA's Artemis program sent humans back to the moon, this time including the first woman and a person of color on November 16, 2022. And it's not just a quick visit. They're talking about sustainable lunar base as a springboard to Mars. Meanwhile, Elon Musk and SpaceX are out there building Starship, a rocket designed to ferry humans to the moon and eventually to Mars. Oh, and let's not forget the US Space Force, because nothing says modern space race like militarizing the cosmos. But hold on, China's not sitting this one out. They have already got the Tiangong space station up and running, and they are eyeing a moon base by 2035. Here's the twist. China's space program is pretty much doing it alone, with minimal collaboration with Western nations. And then there are the newcomers. India's ISRO is making moves with its Gaganyaan human spaceflight program, getting a little help from the European Space Agency. Speaking of the ESA, they're playing a key role in international collaborations. Even the United Arab Emirates is in the mix, aiming to land the first Arab space rover on the moon. So, what's driving all this space fever? Back in the day, it was about national pride. Today, it's all about resources and strategy. Countries are eyeing the moon's helium-3 and water ice, which could be revolutionary for energy and life support. Plus, whoever dominates the space could gain some serious leverage back on Earth. Space is shaping up to be the next big playing field for influence, power, and wealth. So buckle up, it's going to be a wild ride. Let's break down the key flashpoints that are making space exploration less starry-eyed dreams and more high-stakes drama. First, Moon and Mars exploration. The moon is no longer just a nightlight. It's prime real estate. The US's Artemis program plans a long-term base as a stepping stone to Mars, aiming to secure critical resources like water ice, which is essential for rocket fuel and sustaining life, and helium-3, a rare element with potential to revolutionize clean energy back on Earth. Meanwhile, China and Russia are teaming up to build a moon base at the South Pole by the 2030s, drawn by the same resources. China's Chang'e 5 mission already brought back samples hinting at these treasures. The question is, will nations collaborate to share the bounty, or will lunar claims spark interstellar drama? Now, let's talk about the satellite situation. It's getting busy up there. SpaceX's Starlink has launched over 5,000 satellites, promising global internet coverage, but increasing satellite collision risk. In 6 months, Starlink satellites were involved in 25,000 close calls, a statistic that highlights the danger of orbital congestion. A single crash could trigger Kessler syndrome. If a satellite crashes, debris scatter, and a chain reaction turns Earth's orbit into a giant scrapyard, disrupting GPS, internet, and weather systems. Imagine telling your boss that you canceled your Zoom meeting because of space traffic jam. And then militarization. Space isn't just a scientific playground anymore. It's starting to look like the next battleground. The US kicked things off by launching the Space Force in 2019, a military branch aimed at protecting its assets and countering threats. China and Russia are making their moves too. In 2007, China tested an anti-satellite weapon, blowing up one of its own satellites and leaving behind 3,000 pieces of debris. Russia followed suit in 2021, taking out a satellite and earning global criticism. These tests are more than just dangerous stunts, they are a warning. Military satellites and anti-satellite weapons are no longer science fiction. They are here and they are complicating an already tense situation. Treaties like the Outer Space Treaty written in 1960s feels about as outdated as dial-up internet in this new era of militarized space. So what's next? The Moon and Mars offer thrilling opportunities for discovery and survival, but the darker side of space, satellite congestion and militarization, could lead to conflicts that spill over from orbit to Earth. Space might be infinite, but when it comes to politics and power plays, it's feeling more cramped by the day. So buckle up, because the cosmic drama is just getting started. Let's talk about the risks of escalation in space. Here's the deal. Space is starting to mirror Earth's messiness, competition, disputes, and a serious lack of rules. The biggest issue is we don't have a solid playbook to keep things civil. Sure, there is the Outer Space Treaty, but it was written in 1967, when color TVs were the height of tech. It says space should be used for peaceful purposes, but it doesn't touch on things like mining lunar ice or weaponizing satellites. And about those resources, lunar ice and helium-3 are the new cosmic gold. They could fuel space missions and even revolutionize clean energy on Earth. Sounds amazing, right? But here's the catch. Everybody wants a slice of the pie, and there is no referee to keep it fair. History has shown us what happens when resources are up for grabs. Wars over oil, land, and gold have been messy enough here on Earth. Now imagine that on Moon or Mars. Not exactly humanity's best moment. Then there is the whole militarization thing. It's not just sci-fi anymore. It's happening. As we discussed, countries are testing anti-satellite weapons and the debris is piling up. And no, this isn't just harmless junk. It's traveling at 17,500 miles per hour. Even a tiny shard could obliterate a satellite. Multiply that risk by the thousands of satellites and well, you get the picture. And it gets worse. Military satellites aren't just for sending selfies from space. They're being used for surveillance and potentially attacks. The US, China, and Russia are all stepping up their space game. The Space Force might sound like a title of a comedy series, but it's here for a reason. One wrong move in orbit could easily spark tensions back on Earth. So where does this leave us? Without proper regulations, we are playing a dangerous game. Space might seem infinite, but the risks are anything but. It's high time we figure out how to manage this cosmic frontier before ambition and competition turn it into a galactic battlefield. So we covered the risks, but let's talk about hope. Space doesn't have to be the next galactic battleground. It could be the ultimate team project. Like a group assignment where everyone actually does their part. Take the International Space Station. Seriously, it's a floating symbol of what humanity can achieve when we work together. 5 space agencies from 15 countries have been collaborating on it since 1998. Despite all the political drama down here on Earth, the ISS remained a neutral zone, Scientists share data, astronauts from different nations work side by side, and miraculously, no one fights over the window seat. Then there are joint missions, like NASA and the European Space Agency teaming up for Mars exploration. Take the Perseverance rover, for example. NASA built the rover, but the ESA is working on the vehicle that will bring Martian samples back to Earth. It's a perfect space buddy movie. But how do we take this spirit of collaboration to the next level? Enter the Artemis Accords, a set of guidelines for peaceful exploration and resource sharing on the moon. Over 20 countries have already signed it, but heavyweights like China and Russia are notably absent. Imagine if we could bring everyone to the table. Less space race and more cosmic potluck. And here's a bold idea. What if we had a United Nations of Space? A global organization dedicated to managing exploration, resources, and even pesky space debris. It could set up rules, settle disputes, and ensure nobody turns moon into their personal backyard. Sure, it sounds utopian, but hey, we pulled off the UN down here. Why not up there? But let's be real. Cooperation isn't easy. It takes trust, compromise, and shared vision. But the alternative is chaos, competition, and conflict, which is way worse. Working together isn't just a feel-good idea, it's critical for managing resources, preventing accidents, and making sure humanity's leap to the stars doesn't turn into a faceplant. So, what's it going to be? A future filled with rivalry and tensions, or a shared journey to the cosmos? The choice is ours, or more accurately, in the hands of folks building the rockets. Let's hope they aim for stars and cooperation. Space exploration is a double-edged sword. On one side, it's a beacon of hope, a chance to rise above our earthly squabbles and unite as a species to achieve something extraordinary. On the other, it risks becoming the next stage for our divisions, conflicts, and unchecked ambition. But here's the reality. Space doesn't care about our politics or power plays. It's infinite, indifferent, and waiting. The question is, can we rise to the challenge of exploring it responsibly? The stakes have never been higher. Will we look back decades from now and see space as a stage that united humanity, or as the battlefield that brought our worst traits to the stars? This is where you come in. What kind of future do you think we are shaping? Will space exploration inspire unity or magnify division? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your take. And if this cosmic journey sparks some ideas, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next one. Until next time, keep looking up, not just at the stars, but at the infinite possibilities they represent. Because the final frontier isn't just out there, it's in us, and what we choose to do with it will define us for generations to come.